Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Bigfoot and Bass. All right, I got a story for you. This story is from 1985, and it's going to be in Charlotte, in Dixon County, Tennessee. This story is actually, I've heard two sides of this story. It was talked about by a friend of the person, and it's also logged on the internet under the Bigfoot sightings. You type that in, and this is an official sighting. It was investigated by Matt Moneymaker from the TV show. So it's a popular story. It's known by some, but once again, it happened in 1985, in June or July of 1985. I think it was June of 1985, and it happened in Charlotte. They call the little part of Charlotte then Greenwood community. It's right off of Highway 49 and Greenwood Road. The story is the lady and were sitting in the kitchen at her mother's house. She had her two nieces with her and her mother, and they were having light conversation, just talking back and forth. And she said she leaned back and looked out the door, and she said she seen it from the back of the grass, where the grass was cut down, where the weeds had grown up. It was moving through the weeds, and she said she could tell by the trees that it passed that it was approximately 7 foot tall. She said that it was leaning forward. It had its shoulders hunched, and it was moving rapidly across that field to get to the wooded area. She said, "Oh my God, what is this?" And the niece spun around and looked out the door and could see it too. They both immediately ran in the backyard to see what it was, and she said they were petrified. She said it was huge, and it was moving so fast that it could have came, if it would have came towards them, it would have been on top of them in no time. That they had ran back in. And she said it ran behind the shed and then disappeared into the woods and ran up into the woods line, and that was the last they seen it. They said in that brief sighting that it was approximately 150 foot away when they first seen it, and it had covered at least 75 foot to that wood line in a matter of seconds. And it was moving huge, and it was moving silent. She said that as big as it is, you'd have figured you'd hear pounding of feet. There was no pounding of feet. There was no like rustling of the weeds. She said, I don't know how it was moving through them weeds so silently, but it was moving fast, and it was moving silent. And it was hunched forward. She said it seemed to have a rounded head. Let me get to the color and the description that she left. It had brown and blackish brown hair, and said it moved forward, lunged forward, had a rounded head with its shoulders arched forward, and she said it didn't, she goes, it was running, but it didn't seem to be running, it seemed to be gliding across it. But either how that it comes out that it was moving fast across them weeds through there. She said they never, they were scared and pretty shaken up, imaginably so, as I would be. And said they did not go after it, did not look for it, didn't go try to see where it went in the woods. She said after they told their families and some of their kinfolk, they came over and were looking for foot tracks. They never found any foot tracks. They didn't, like it. You couldn't even see where the weeds were just brushed aside. She said that there was no evidence of that. They looked for hair. Nothing was found. Nothing was ever found as far as evidence goes on that. It was reported, called in and reported. No odor. They never had any odor. There was no smell. Like some people, when they see Bigfoot, they describe a smell. They said they had no smell. They were all just sitting having casual conversation. The other witness, there's two witnesses to it. The aunt and the niece seen it. When the niece spun around, she seen it. The other ones were kind of scared and didn't even try to look. The incidents occurred in June of 1985, and it was approximately 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Sunny, very warm and clear. The terrain in the area is rolling hills with open crop fields nearby with large, heavily wooded areas of forest. The sighting itself happened in a populated area with several houses on the state highway within sight. The back of the property, where it had sloped off into a ravine approximately 100 yards away, with terrain rising from the hills in the woods. The Bigfoot research investigator was Matthew Moneymaker, which is Matt Moneymaker, and it's originally District of Los Angeles, California, is where Matt Moneymaker's from. Has a Bachelor in Arts, English Literature, and in the University of California of Los Angeles, so UCLA. He has a law degree from the University of Akron School of Law. Just giving you a little bit about the investigator on it. So to summarize this, the lady was sitting there, once again, just having a casual conversation. Now, can you imagine this? You're sitting there, a nice sunny day, about 3 o'clock, a fairly populated area, fairly open too. You know how it is if you live around here. Even though you're in amongst other people, there's still woods around, usually and an eyesight of it. You're sitting there having casual conversation. You look up, you see a Bigfoot moving across your property. You say, "Oh my God!" Your niece turns around, the other ones flee, and your niece turns around and sees it, and you both rush out to see, make sure your eyes are sure what you see, and then when you find out they are sure what they see, you panic, and you don't want nothing to do with it. And it seems to be a popular thing that happens when people see Bigfoot too, or have these sightings. And I'm sure she's probably like others that don't say I seen a Bigfoot, because it says I seen a creature. And that's the easiest way to say it, is I seen a creature. You know, if you say I see Bigfoot, you start putting yourself in that category to where, you know, you're opening yourself to ridicule, and a lot of people don't like doing that. But a popular thing in these sightings that I'm getting from my experiences and from the people telling these stories is, once you see it, you want nothing to do with it. You just wish, like, that you didn't see it almost. There's also people who are the opposite, like Matt Moneymaker and some of the other Bigfoot sighting people. They're intrigued by it, and they don't feel that from it. They feel like a connection to it, like it's peaceful, and they're trying to find out what it is. And it's either that or terror. So there's a lot of a variety in the reactions after you see it, and that's something that's interesting to me too. And leave your comments on that too. And once again, I'm working on more Bigfoot sightings, and I've got more Bigfoot stories, and I'm going to start putting these out more. There's going to be a few, and that's what I was trying to get, so I don't have 3 months in between Bigfoot sighting stories. luckily I was turned onto this page on the internet, and I've reached out to some people from this to get their stories. And if you have a Bigfoot sighting story and you'd like to tell it, once again, reach out to me. I will get a hold of you. I will write it down. If you want to come on here and tell it, I'll travel to you and you can tell it. We can talk about it. No ridicule. If you don't want to, you just want me to tell it. What I'm doing is, in case you haven't realized this, is I'm putting together all these local sightings and trying to draw you a map to, wait a minute, this ain't a one-off thing. This ain't somebody just telling this one-time story. This is multiple people, and it's giving you a trail. If you follow that trail and you map it out, then you see a migration of an animal. So I just want to put that out there, that there's been many sightings, and it's coming out. The more I do this, the more sightings. In the first, I thought, well, you know what, I'd get 5. If I got 5 sightings in these local areas, then there's 5 sightings of, hey, this is interesting, there's something going on here. And right now there's more sightings than I expected. So it's even more, to me, proof that, hey, something is here. Something's going on. Or something was here. It may have moved on to a different territory. But this is 1985. I've got 2 other stories that are logged into this and investigated by Matt Moneymaker too. One from 1987, and I think the other one's 1989, and I'm going to tell them next. Like I said, I got a group of stories together because I want to put these out in a series and not 3 months apart. But once again, what takes precedence over these is a natural story. So if you're telling me your story, that's fresh news. These are researchable, and they tie into what I'm doing. But if you've got a story and you want to tell it, give it to me, and I'll tell it here on Bigfoot and Base. No problem. That's all I got. And guys, remember, if you don't do anything else, you just turn it up.